The legendary artist has called. Hello, folks. This is Blind Adam with the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast. Today, I have a real treat. I have one of the legendary artists who worked on two of the greatest movies of all time, that would be Mallrats and Chasing Amy. Created Madman and Red Rocket 7, and also had a legendary run on Ecstatics and X-Force. Mr. Mike Allred. How are you, Mike?
I'm super. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for doing this with me. You're one of my favorite artists of all time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, let's see, my first question would be, how did you discover comics, and what were some of your favorites growing up? Oh, wow. That's great. How did you make the decision to become a comic book artist and writer?
Well, it wasn't really a decision so much. I just did it for fun, and writing deals and had references to cultures, and all of a sudden what I was doing growing up when I belonged to became a career and started to work for it. And I was Rochester Prison, that's a white comic book hobby sort of thing that I've been writing for some January 1990 sort of thing. I was blinded.
That's awesome. I actually tried to find some of your old broadcasting stuff from that on YouTube with no success. As I was doing some research for the interview, rediscovering some things that I loved of yours as a younger adult. So you had a career in broadcasting. What was it like transitioning, say, from broadcasting into comics, and how does being a broadcaster and a news reporter influence your work? I said, that's fine. Let's see, how did you transition from broadcasting into comics, and how does being a former broadcaster and news reporter influence your work? That's fine. Basically, how did you transition from going into broadcasting into being a comic book professional, and how does being a former broadcaster influence your work? that, then Dead Air came out a little bit after that. Yeah, because, let's see, how did you come up with the concept of Madman? And I'm just going to make this a two-part question. And also, do you have any updates on the live-action Madman movie with Robert Rodriguez, which has been in development for years? Yeah, actually, I actually watched that for the second time over the weekend, and I had a ball with it. Yeah. Actually, I want to say thank you for that because I have a friend, she's not into comic books at all, but I got her to start reading comics for the iZombie TV show. Excuse me, Mike, do you have a reason I want to say thank you for? There's another reason I want to say thank you for things like the iZombie TV show and the Red Rocket 7 movie and stuff like that. I'm psyched prepared. My sites get worse all the time. And comic books aren't in Braille. So I just have to find someone to read them to me or read them from my computer. So when something like an iZombie comes out, I'm beyond grateful. Because, it's just like having a talking comic book. I discovered your work through Chasing Amy, and, when I'm Chasing Amy about mallrats, which had a huge influence on my life. I discovered comics and all that. I want to say thank you for your involvement in both those movies. Because they really had a profound, effect on my life. And I went to college and I have a podcast and all that from that. So I guess one of my questions I was always curious about, what was your exact involvement with Chasing Amy, and how much of the artwork outside of Bluntman and Chronic did you do?
Well, I met Kenneth Smith and his racing players couple of years at the Comic Con one year, and they had they were just finishing touching the mallrats, and they asked if I would do tomorrow one for video FaceTime sequence, which I did, and I think down I could change that log. And so when we did choose meeting, they asked if not only could I do a FaceTime sequence for that, but design the superhero characters a little bit in crime, and all of the artwork I believe is drawn by Ben Affleck and Jason Lee. I drew that as well. And then Jim and Debbie come in and do the first line for Jason Lee filming too. So yeah, that's all those I call that. And then with the big title sequence, of course my wife is going for it. That's all about one. But also read that financial entitled artwork as well. So that guy is incredible.
That's awesome sauce. Because, let's see, how did you, what was your creative process with Laura like? So I love her, but I can still make it up her colors a little bit. I actually love.
Well, it's pretty organic. I was drawn and out, and then you get with the brush, I'm not brushing her. All that takes my artwork, scans it, and does the black numbers. And then she gives me the art back, which I have to coincide with watercolor tones or graphite tones and texture. She scans that and turns all these extra modular textures and tones into colors. And then it's like gives everything kind of an organic, it kind of tastes like zero computer already. It's kind of a hands-on, more artistic quality, which I really love.
Yeah, cause it's really beautiful stuff. I mean, I'm actually catching up on some of the FF work you did with Traction. Just because I'm behind on certain things more than others. And it just really stands out. Which brings me to one of my next questions is, you did one of my favorite covers of Daredevil recently. And, what was it like working with Mark Waid and, what do you think of Daredevil finally getting back to comics this after so?
He's one of my favorite creators. He has a very deep and rich appreciation for history of comic books. The wealth of knowledge he's memory. His passion, of course, trivia, probably like the music was that. I was wondering if like that and that's why I was working as a big way to use comic book history channel. So I know his stuff and I really appreciate that.
It really shows it, Mark. No matter what I pick up from him, he can really always tell the history. That he really has a love of the history of the industry.
I didn't really like everybody I collaborated with, and Mark, and I just can't leave up with him. No, but that's why they're coming for what we're doing.
What is it like working with Dan on Silver Surfer? Because I've met him a few times, and a 2-minute conversation always turns into him doing voices of the thing, or him. I mean, not that it was where he was not imitated really speaking to him. That's cool. Well, with all the controversy going on with Marvel with FF, you is there any danger of anything happening with the server in one of the so-called secret corners of the studios? That's great. Once again, it's just something I still need to catch up on a little bit. I do a lot of my reading through the computer, so some things are a little easier to get into my console than others. I'm in between readers at the moment too. She just graduated and is going off to college. Yep. So getting back on Zombie for a second, how did you, Chris, come up with the character, and what do you think of Rose's portrayal of her? It's also one of the few shows that's based on a comic book. Like I watched it with I got actually able to watch it with my parents a little bit because it is that one intelligent zombie character out there. It's kind of the typical concept of zombies. Scenes in the show have been all the interaction between Robbie and Liv. And that scene, especially when Robbie's trying to make up the cure with the rat. I just find it just really find it like really, really true. I'm sorry I'm going all over the map with your career here. It just, the way I just organized my notes was a little weird. Just like I said, as soon as I discovered one thing, and I started doing research on YouTube and going through other stuff, and as soon as I discovered one thing, I was like, wow, I forgot you did this. especially when it comes to Red Rapid 7 and the gear. So, what exactly is Red Rapid 7, if you could describe it to someone, and, you know, it's probably one of my outside of your chasing Amy words and outside of iZombie, it's probably my third most favorite thing of mine that you've ever done. And I have a feeling it's just, I actually had an operation on my eyes around that point, just to get the pressure down, and I discovered it through the Asterix movie that came out. Especially the opening scene with the whole road trip aspect of it too. I just really always super enjoyed it. And do you know if it's still in print at all? I looked at Amazon and I looked on eBay and there's no avail. Um, you know, hey Mike, you still there? I said, do you know if it's still in print? The Asterix? Nice. Look at that. Now, I saw a thing on your website that says that you were brought up on the 3 Bs. Beatles, Batman, and God. much for the time, and thank you so much for all the years of entertainment and inspiration.
Thank you.
And I'll email this to Brian, and I'll make sure it gets to you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Stop recording button 2620. Stop recording button.
Hello, folks. This is Blind Adam, your host of the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast. I want to thank you all for enjoying and listening to my interview with Mike Allred, who is the creator of Mad Men, Red Rocket 7, had legendary runs on titles like X-Force and Ecstatics, did all the artwork for all the greatest movies of all time, like Chasing Amy and Mallrats. He also did artwork on the movie The Faculty. He is the co-creator with Chris Robinson on iZombie, which is a hit show on the CW on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. With Rose McLaughlin as the lead character of Olivia Moore, iZombie herself. I really like to thank Michael for the time. I like to thank him for all the years of entertainment and inspiration, and this was such an awesome experience to have talked and to have interviewed Mike. I really want to thank Brian Hubert for setting this interview up. I just feel so blessed, and I was just able to live a dream right now. And to all my visually impaired or handicapped brothers and sisters out in the world, my advice is, if you have a dream, live it. If you want to do something, do it. Because you never know what awesome and amazing things will happen. I mean, I'm just feeling so blessed, and with that I'm going to say, one foot in the gutter, one fist in the gold. Blind Adam saying, thank you for being an amazing, awesome sauce family, and have a great night. Goodbye.
2830. Stop recording button. Enter.